Hello and welcome to EDFL Web TV. This week we are back at the home of EDFL Web TV, the Pascoe Vale Hotel. Before we hear from Adam Russell and Claire Varley to discuss all of this week's big issues across the EDFL, on Tuesday night I went down to the West Meadows Football Club and caught up with the senior coach, Dave Connell. Let's find out what DC had to say. It's Tuesday night training here at the West Meadows Football Club and I'm here with the senior coach, Dave Connell. Dave, welcome to EDFL Web TV, mate. It's been a good little run of form recently for your boys.
Yeah, last 5-6 weeks we've been building. So I think it was last time we had the match of the round with Oak Park. We've been building pretty much since then, so it's been good.
And obviously coming off a massive win against Craigieburn, a good turnaround considering that they gave you a bit of a belting the first time around, but on the weekend at Willowbrook Reserve, your boys were on.
Yeah, no, they were excellent on the weekend. So I think we were really disappointed with the way that we played the first time against them. It was probably definitely our worst game for the year. We got a little bit undisciplined. Things didn't seem to go away, and we sort of unravelled a little bit. But probably for the first time all year, we've actually played 4 quarters, so that was pleasing to do it at the pointy end of the year. So
Robbie Mullins having a good year for your boys. He's up near the top of the goal kicking table, and some of the new boys as well, particularly Tamar Abdallah and Billy Alouche, two that I've liked from what I've seen so far for the West Meadows Football Club.
Yeah, look, Billy and Tamar probably took a little bit to get going, and I suppose to get into the West Meadows culture. From where they've come from, it's probably a little bit of an eye-opener for them, but they've been accepted in really well, and Tamar in particular has been really, really good over the last 6 weeks, and Billy's just been consistent all year, and yeah, look, Robbie obviously won our best and fairest last year. Role changed a fair bit this year. Last year he was more through the middle, where this year he's played a lot more time up forward, and so he's hitting the scoreboard obviously a lot harder than he did last year, which is pleasing.
Massive game this weekend against Hillside, a fair bit on the line as well. You'll win, you'll be playing some finals footy again, which will be a good result for the footy club, but a massive game coming up against the Sharks. Yeah,
look, we've already spoken about it on the Sunday. I think the message after the game, everyone was really happy with what we'd done, but the message on Sunday to the playing group was really that sort of yesterday was yesterday, and today's now all about building for this week. So, yeah, another big challenge. I think Hillside's always harder to play up there. You don't know what sort of weather conditions you're going to get. So, but yeah, 100% we need to be on our game right from the first bounce. Otherwise, nothing's for certain.
That's Adam Sarakoglu there with Dave Connell. Now I'm joined by Adam Russell here at the Pascoe Vale Hotel, the home of EDFL Web TV. And with finals football just around the corner, there is a lot to talk about in this week's episode of EDFL Web TV.
Yes, Claire, looking forward to some finals fever coming up on EDFL Web TV, but a couple of big fixtures this week, so looking forward to that.
Yeah, well, let's start in Strathmore Community Bank Premier Division. Keilor had 9 goal kickers in their win over an undermanned Greenvale outfit at the weekend. Will this mean much when it comes to the finals? Yeah,
look, they struggled for goals early, Keilor, in the year. It was probably one of the bigger concerns on their finals tilt, but you know, they've been such a good defensive unit, and I think they'll look to turn that around. You look at Gordis, Brown, Kennedy and Joyce. They've got a spread of goal kickers which they'll be able to use during finals football.
EDFL match of the day is going to be at Clifton Park this weekend for the clash between Aberfeldy and Keilor. What do you expect for this game on the weekend?
Yeah, look, a pretty good contest coming up. I think probably my 2 best teams in the Premier Division at the moment. I think maybe some cards might be held close to the chest for both teams. Not too much. They won't want to give away too much there. I think Keilor, they're such a defensive unit, and Pascoe and Aberfeldy, I should say, are such an attacking unit. So it's we'll see how the Keilor's defence hold up against Aberfeldy's predominant attack. You know, they've got Kyle Reemans. Hopefully he could be back for them. So I'm looking forward to it. Haven't seen either team for quite a while now, so good to get back into Premier Division.
I know, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing some more Premier Division football when we've been down in Division 1 and Division 2 so often for the broadcasts lately. And also remember to tune into EDFL Preview this Saturday at 1 p.m. on Northwest FM. Adam Sarakoglu and Adrian Jamison will be joined by the 2 coaches of the Under-16s Division 1 Grand Final between Essendon Duda Stars and Keilor that's coming up this weekend. We'll be joined by Jeff Madden and Craig Hill to talk about the big clash between these 2 teams at Windy Hill this Sunday. So then, let's look back at last week's match of the day. What do you think was more telling? How good Tulla were, or how disappointing Oak Park were?
Yeah, Tullamarine, they're a really good football side, especially down at Leo Deneen Deserve. They've got a very good record down there. They've only lost the 2 games, and it's quite a wide ground. So what I noticed most was Tullamarine, they used to use the wings, whereas Oak Park, they used the corridor, but their disposal was a little bit off. So a little bit shaky there for Oak Park. I think Scott McAllister has been such a crucial in for Tullamarine so far. He's kicked 17 goals in his last 3 games, so really another attacking vocal point up there for Tullamarine, which is good. Oak Park, look, they'll have to beat Duda Stars this week at home, and they've got a very good record at home. They haven't lost there so far this season, so there might be a sneaky chance, but finals on the line now for Oak Park and Tullamarine. Still a chance to get into the top 4 if we win against East Keilor this weekend. So big games for both teams, and it was a massive result on the weekend for Tullamarine.
Yeah, and there was also a big crowd out in force for Tullamarine. I know we had the Submarines out there in the tent that really brought it, and a really loud and vocal crowd as Tullamarine got ahead, so it was a fun atmosphere as well. Adam, what is your current grand final matchup in Essendon for Division 1?
Well, we just spoke about Tullamarine, and I was really impressed by them on the weekend. I think they might be a sneaky chance to make the grand final, probably against Duda Stars, the early premiership favourite at this point. I did mention Scott McAllister. I like his form, and I think Tullamarine, they might even give it a tilt if they do make the grand final up against Duda Stars.
Yeah, Glenroy has a bye this week and is therefore their season is over. Give them a grade for their performance this season.
Look, they haven't been too bad, Glenroy. They did play in the grand final a couple of years ago. A few expected them to maybe play finals football this year, but they didn't quite get there. They were in a relegation battle earlier in the season. At the end now, they've gotten out of that quite comfortably. So I think maybe about a C grade. The percentage was pretty good. They had a couple of close games they could have won and maybe pushed for finals. So I think about a C, maybe C plus if we're pushing it for Glenroy this season.
Oh. Well, Adam Russell, you're new to the tipping this season. You've come in at the end of it and you've proved yourself as quite a tipster in the last couple of weeks, rivaling even myself.
Yes, the great Claire Befeldy. She's been knocked off.
Oh, it's disappointing for everyone. Do you have any upset tips for us in Essendon 4 Division 1 this week?
Look, I think pretty comfortable in the results this week. We've got 4 obvious favourites. I think we've got Duda Stars probably going to be Oak Park. If I had to pick an upset, it'd probably be Oak Park at home to get over Duda Stars. Otherwise, we've got Craigieburn beating Taylors Lakes. West Meadows should get the job done against Hillside, and Tullamarine over East Keilor. So probably not too many upsets on the card this week for Division 1.
I know for me, I thought there was kind of a long shot of maybe Taylors Lakes getting it one over on Craigieburn, considering they've been somewhat disappointing since Jason Cloke went out for that game we were there when he had his shattered cheekbone. So that was the one I would have picked for an upset. That was the one that kind of got me on the
some good merit there, Claire.
What did you make of Moonee Valley's win over Roxburgh Park this week?
Look, it was such a big win for Moonee Valley. Kept them in finals contention, so a big weekend coming up for them. And, you know, they match up pretty well against Roxburgh Park. The margin's only been 7, 4 and 8 points between those two teams. The 3 times they have met this season, and if they are able to make finals, Moonee Valley, if they come up against Roxburgh Park, they might even consider themselves a sneaky chance to get a win over them. So good win for Moonee Valley on the weekend.
Staying in Division 1, and it's been a tight race to the end and quite an even competition. Who will be the unlucky team to be squeezed out of that top 4 this weekend?
Are we talking Division 2 or Division 1?
I apologise, Division 2.
Division 2 between Coburg Districts and Moonee Valley. Such a tight contest between the two. They've been relatively competitive all season. They've played good football that would definitely be competitive in finals. I think it really depends on what Hadfield do up against Coburg Districts this weekend. Hadfield, they've got top spot wrapped up. They might look to rest a couple of their star players and look towards the first week of finals. So maybe if Hadfield, they rest a few players, Coburg Districts might be in the box seat to make finals. So I'm going to back Coburg Districts in, and unfortunately for Moonee Valley, they might not get up.
And finally, can you please give us your quick tip and a margin prediction for the game between Burnside Heights and East Sunbury?
Yeah, it hasn't been the best season for either side. I think East Sunbury, they're the form team. Not that Burnside Heights has much form, but hopefully they can put in a competitive effort against the Thunder, and we'll say about a margin of 2 goals.
Well, thank you, Adam, for being here at the Pascoe Vale to talk to me today about this week that we've got coming up in football. Don't forget to pick up your copy of the record this weekend at the Thirds Grand Final at Keilor. And also make sure to look out for Adam Sarakoglu's feature on the wonderful EDFL umpiring legend Jimmy Amesworth. Thank you, and we'll see you all back again here next week.